from the Post Millennial. Arizona superintendent sued over sex chat room for minors. The lawsuit alleges Hoffman advertised links to chat rooms where minors discuss sex and gender with adults present and without parents necessarily knowing. This is, according to AZ Free News, the lawsuit filed in the Maricopa County Superior Court alleges Hoffman advertised links. So we read that. Judge Peter Thompson will preside. The chat rooms have quick escape functions that Hoffman claims violate Arizona's Parents' Bill of Rights in the suit. It specifies how Hoffman advertised Q Chat Space, which is aimed at LGBTQ youth 13 years and older. Chat rooms include sex and relationships Q&A, for trans non-binary youth, activism and allyship, for trans non-binary youth, sex ed. Yeah, so these schools are having these conversations with your kids and they're encouraging them to speak. This is the crazy thing. It's not the first time we've heard this, where they bring minors into rooms with adults without the parents knowing. Like, come on, man.
Guys, it's amazing to me. It wasn't that long ago that, I mean, like, hey, you know, I would see a student at Walmart and it was weird for them. You know, I mean, it's like, you have kids and a wife, and I'm like, well, yeah. But, you know, I mean, you're in the classroom, you're teaching academics, you're going through the stand. I mean, and to them, it's like a bizarro world to see you like in real life. You know, we've gone from that to, hey, we're going to bring in minors. We're going to talk about sex, and we're going to talk about your sexual orientation. We're going to talk about your gender. It's outrageous. It's amazing how quickly we've gone from that type of perspective to just full-on indoctrination.
And it's not just schools. It's parades, it's public showings, it's TV shows, it's movie series, it's social media where, of course, it's promoted in the algorithm. And people and young kids especially are gaslit that this is okay, and they get special brownie points on the internet. They get more likes, they get more play in the algorithm if they declare that they're a part of the larger accepted group that, of course, everyone wants them to be, which is absolutely crazy. I just learned about the transition rooms that you were telling me. I just looked it up. That also is kind of mind-boggling to see these type of things going on at school without the participation of the parents. And this is why I think homeschooling has been on such a huge rise. And I think if there's a caveat to any of this, it's that people are finally learning because of COVID, because of the last 2 years, because of all the Zoom calls. They're finally seeing all the horrendous things that their kids are being indoctrinated to, that they're saying enough is enough. We're taking the kids from school. We're teaching them the important things that they actually will use in life, and changing the game this way. There's millions of people homeschooling, and I think this is a sign that I think is a positive and a good.
I got to make this point, though. As an app developer myself, you know, having the quick escape function is, when you have a really good, honest app, you always have to have something so you can
Tetris mode.
Quickly exit out of it so you don't get caught speaking to a child. I mean, just the fact that they're speaking. I mean, seriously, they're like, we got to have a function, quick escape functionality in case somebody walks in the room. I mean, that's sick. That's perverted. And it goes to, and the reason why I thought about that is when you talked about the transition clauses, it's like, you know, you have to talk about this with the developer, like, we may need to be able to get out of this instantly because we could be talking about something that's very demonic or evil. So it just that just shows you how many layers
or inappropriate
and how
illegal.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So you know that website should not exist, and that's a teacher doing it. So
what's going on with you and, say, school choice or homeschooling or microschooling?
Right. You know, I couldn't agree more that what we've seen is parents that have open their eyes through COVID, seeing what's going on in the classrooms, to say, we want more school choice, we want more options for our kids. Hey, if a parent wants to homeschool a kid or send them to a private school, and these micro schools, I'm glad you brought that up. We are seeing incredible innovation that's going on because, hey, a parent, a couple of teachers go, hey, we can do project-based learning. We can have kids develop their own company. I mean, we can have you create a startup. Here you go. Here's some materials. You guys start it up, and we'll help work through all that. We can do math, science through this type of innovation, and it's really unlocking the potential. And again, this whole one-size-fits-all model in education has to stop. We all know that. Like, you know, not everybody takes the traditional path to be successful in life. And we push kids in it, and then we make them feel like failures when they don't go down that road.
This is why I thought school was just miserable, because, like, for me, we would spend one whole week on a subject that I would learn in 10 minutes. They'd open the book and be like, here's this, you know, current lesson today. And then at the end of the week, you can take a test. So like on day one, I read it. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, I'm good.
And then I'm sitting there and they punish me for it.
Yep.
They say, you're being bad. You're not paying attention. You're in trouble. You get detention.
Public school's a scam. I mean, it's an indoctrination center that was literally created on the foundations of the Rockefeller family that wanted good slave workers that were going to be good, obedient workers in the factory. Everything is based on that old principle. Society doesn't run this way anymore. We don't have any factories. The Rockefellers, along with Henry Henry Kissinger and Nixon sent them over to China when they opened up China to the rest of the world. But this is, again, a failed system that is failing our country. Our IQs have been going down dramatically. Intelligence and emotional health has been going down dramatically. And I think this is done deliberately, and I think this is a success of the system rather than a failure. Because when you truly look at how the system and why the system was started, it starts to make a lot more sense.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's where understanding that it was developed in the Industrial Revolution to say, we want to have good factory workers. And what did we want? We wanted, first of all, to make sure they could go tend the crops, which is why we had summers off so that they could tend harvest. That's literally the reason for the schedule. And we still had the, I mean, I know
lunch breaks specifically. So regurgitate, repeat, follow orders, follow the procedures, punch the hole exactly where we tell you to punch the hole in.
And that was what it was designed in order to do. And now we live in this incredibly agile economy where literally the thing that is most productive is the ability to be, be creative, be innovative, be able to create on your own and think outside the box and think about things differently, and literally have a system in place that does not help that flourish, doesn't build upon that as a premise. And so that's what we've got to continue to do, is to push for an education system that unlocks the potential of every learner. And that means it's different. That means it's different for every learner. And to your point, if you have a learner that can take off, let them take off. Why are we slowing them down? And why are we allowing ourselves to overly regulate and push a model on kids that, frankly, like I said, you can talk to people every day. They don't follow the traditional path to be successful. Hey, college, guess what? A lot of people don't want to send their kids to college.
That's not even the traditional way to be successors. Never has been. It's a myth, modern, relative. I think that only emerged with the millennial generation for the most part. Gen Xers probably to a certain degree, more so, and mostly millennials. I think maybe we can look at the data, because for me it's just what I understand about the narratives they give us all the time is that the greatest generation had high school diplomas and fed their families, and the boomers didn't go to college. Some of them did, many of them did, but most or a large amount didn't. And they were still able to work jobs and be successful.
60% of Oklahomans don't go to college. And we look at the jobs, Walmart right now is running this on a loop. They've got their commercial of they are starting semi-truck drivers at six figures.
Wow.
You can go here for 6 weeks, you get a CDL license, you can get behind a truck and you start $120,000. Wow. There are kids that go, I get to travel around the country. Mm-hmm. I get this kind of training. I get, and by the way, benefits are great too. But you start looking through this and go, college, this whole, all kids should go to college. It's been a myth. And to your point, it's never actually been true. The majority of people never have gone to college. So again, doctors, lawyers, sure, go to college. But the reality is we have pushed kids down a path for so long and said this was what success looks like. And by the way, if you don't do that, you're not a success. And then you wonder why a lot of kids hate school. Yeah. Then you wonder why, by the way, teachers get frustrated in that environment.
There's a meme where it's a woman looking at her kid, and there's a garbage man, and she's like, it's a political cartoon. She's like, you better go to college, otherwise you're going to end up like him. And then the guy's like, I make six figures and have healthcare benefits. Like you're ragging on the garbage man, and he's getting paid way better than all these college grads. It's crazy to think. And also, it's just another problem with that. It's a liberal elite mentality, and a lot of neocon conservative types have this too, the suburban families, that like there's demeaning work. That like, you don't want to do that job. That's a bad job. Oh, why would you want to? It's like, these are very important jobs that people got to do. And it's like, you should be eternally grateful someone's willing to handle your bag of crap and take it out of your house. Could you imagine these people would be crying in 2 seconds if the sanitation workers were just like, you know what, take your own trash. Now you can be that person. And they're going to be like, please. No. There's feces. Yeah, they'll beg and cry.
It's so elitist and condescending too, because, we looked at this, I know, I'm trying to remember which think tank it was, but they did kind of a study on happiness. Who says they're most fulfilled by their job? I don't know if you guys remember seeing this. I think it was AEI, but it was one of the highest rated ones was a custodian at a school. And the reason why was because the custodian felt and saw kids that were excited to go play on the playground. They were excited to be at school. And he realized, and again, that group realized, what I'm doing every day is helping make kids happy. And these teachers are thankful. They come to me and tell me thanks. And again, that's a job that you would think, hey, cleaning up the school every day, they rated it as one of the most, one of the happiest, occupations, because they said, look, we see what we're doing as a fulfillment to society, and that's a reality, though. But liberal elites think that a PhD in, underwater basket weaving or some art, humanity is the end all be all. Even if you don't have a job, even if there's not a job on it, they think that means success rather than contributing to society.
Who was it on The View who thought that that Jill Biden was a doctor?
Sunny Hostin, I think.
Was it?
I think.
She was
his
like,
wife, Jill is a good doctor.
She's a good doctor, and they're like, she's actually not a doctor. It's like, she's not. She has an education doctorate or whatever.
Close enough. I would let her do surgery on me. But hey, I want to make a point because I couldn't get in. I couldn't get in on the education thing, and I want to say, I thought the Rockefellers did a good job, creating a curriculum of good workers, and I think it did a good job. But for me, when Barack Obama's husband got rid of the square pizza, Michelle, that is when I lost all my love for public schooling, because once they took away the good food.
Oh, I remember those pizzas. I actually like them.
And Michelle Obama got rid of them, trying to make everybody go vegan. Michelle, let us eat some cheese pizza. I know you guys love cheese pizza.
Yeah, we used to have those, those squares, and it was like the cheese. Who knows what it was? We had blue hot dogs. That was the weird.
Wait, what? Why were they blue? Were they Gatorade?
I wouldn't eat them. They were gray. They were like, if you'd walk in and there was like hot dogs and I think they were boiling them. And then they'd they put them on. The craziest thing about school food is it never made sense. They'd give you a hot dog with no bun because it was just like whatever they had. But we would very often hot dogs would be gray, and then sometimes they would be blue, bluish gray. And I wouldn't eat it.
Still healthier than the vegan diet, but that's a separate point to make here.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.